So you'll have to bear with me for this video because I don't have the proper setup for these kinds of videos, which is why I typically do the face forward types of content. That said, I do plan on investing a little bit more into the channel and having a more proper setup with better lighting, better cameras in general. That comes in the future. Of course, if you want to support that project, my Patreon is in the description as always, but don't feel obligated. This is all about the modifications to the Surface Space Loader LT78. Of course, if you like what you see here, make sure to subscribe. It really does help the channel out and it tells YouTube you want to see more content like this. First things first, this is all about making it a loader. Now, it does detract from the height of the vehicle. Obviously, it is much taller. Having the ability to carry the payload with it rather than just having it lugged around on the loader at all times is cool, but it is easy to remove, and I'm going to remove that for the sake of the video for now. We'll take a look at it in a moment. That said, right now the boom is actually sort of locked in place. It has this little pin accessory here, which fits into a small little gap inside of here, and that allows it to just kind of lock in so it won't really rotate around on you because that is a frictionless rotation. That said, if you want to lift the arm on this, you can just rotate this gear right here. There are 3 friction pins responsible for moving. However, it is still going to sag under some weight. That's just a sacrifice that I had to make sure that this was as few parts as possible. That said, there are more functions going into this. So let's go ahead and move the camera up slightly so we can see the arm in action. It is a beautiful little design in my opinion. With that said, the gear on the back gives you access to a full 360-degree range infinitely, which means there's no wires or tubes you have to worry about tangling up. It is going to move forever. It's great. But the best part of this function is this gear right here, because it is responsible not only for extending this arm, which I'll go ahead and show you now, which can extend to about that length, but it can actually pass over center to give you a knuckle connection. So let me go ahead and show you from this side here what this looks like. As I turn this gear, it will extend, give you that knuckle range, and now you can actually not only reach back, but actually reach the ground and beyond. It's actually a really impressive amount of range for a boom of this size. On top of that, it has well over 180 degrees of rotation here as well, meaning that it has a really good range in all directions. So really fantastic build. Is it necessary to reach the ground with this? Not exactly, but you could always pretend that this is maybe a precision excavator and you need to pick up some geodes or something with it, and this arm will definitely accommodate that and then some. Going back down for just a moment here. Along with that, you'll see it has these little teeth on the end of the arm, and yeah, as I mentioned, it is going to sag. Not much I can do about that. Newer friction pins have sort of a greasy feel to them. Maybe it's just me, but they seem like they have a little less friction overall. That said, however, this function is actually pretty cool. These are not moving parts, so there's no elastic or anything responsible for this, but rather by turning this down, and I'm just going to use my hand here to give it a little extra force, it will clip onto that without really any issue. It's actually a fairly easy connection as is. And you can, of course, lift it up. Continuing further, I'm going to continue holding this up because I can't really reach that gear from here without getting in front of the camera. We can actually pair these 2 gears together to allow us to place it. Oh, and I dropped it, which is okay. And I'll show you why that dropped here in a second because it is designed to do it. But I can place it in here where it will sort of lock in place. Then by using these 2 gears together, which means I'll probably switch sides so you can use both at the same time a little easier, and offsetting it by about 45 degrees, this will actually release on its own. Yeah, just like that. Gave me a little bit of trouble just because, again, trying not to have my hands in front of the camera. So the way that this works is actually pretty simple. I have aligned this friction pin here with the beam itself. So the axle inside of this connector is aligned, and that's actually pretty important because it means that this is going to clip onto this. However, if you rotate it to a 45-degree angle or so and pull, it's just going to let go. And that's because of these little divots on the corners of this piece. It's a really nice piece for that design, and it means you basically get this extra functionality because this piece doesn't have to bend at all. You're not stressing it anyway, and that's fantastic. It also means that you can go and drop it on the ground behind you as well, if I can do it properly. And as you go to drive away, it will just release on its own. It's really fantastic, a super simple little function on its own, and it just kind of works. So Did I make it seem streamlined? No, absolutely not. But that's the fun of making videos. Sometimes you mess it up and, you know, trying not to be in front of the camera the entire time. Showing you that the functions on the back are all still here. And in fact, I actually changed the lift. I reversed it so that now the superstructure actually aligns with the body better. That just makes more sense to me personally, because I think to myself, if there was a payload on here and this is a vehicle on another planet going kind of slow, being very precise, it's going to want to balance this load as best it can, right? So having it move off to one side is still cool. And in fact, it does still move the boom, so you get that extra range, but it's not strictly necessary. Rather, it's just sort of an added feature that feels like something you would see on a space vehicle, moving the center of gravity more towards the center of the vehicle to accommodate for the load, which I think is pretty cool overall. That said, the steering function still works. This gear is responsible for turning the boom arm, and this knob on the bottom is still responsible for the transformation. And I want to show you this further because the small gap that is going to open up here on the top of the transformation will actually allow for this boom to also fit inside of there as well. So the boom can fold up whether or not it is in its fully transformed mode or not. And I think that that's pretty cool. That way it is out of the way in both transformations. So if you like it more like this, where it's upright, a little higher position, you have that option. And if you like it where it's down low, like, you know, it is typically pictured, or probably what is more like the default, if you want to consider it that, you have that option as well, and the boom is going to lock into position in both scenarios. Lastly, if I didn't mention it already, the lift bar is still here. However, because of the added weight of this, the center of gravity has definitely changed, so the vehicle itself is going to tilt a lot further backwards. And this little bed here can actually be removed very easily just on these two friction pins. So if you don't like it on there at all times, you can just remove it. The body is still here for this though. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go ahead and show off. I am really enjoying these space sets as is. I only have the one so far, and hopefully I can get some more for the channel in the future. If that is something you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments. But that said, even in its base model, even in its base form, I think this is an excellent set. $35 is a really honest price for this. It's a really good price for this in general. And there's a lot of really fun pieces in here too, a lot of newer pieces as well. And of course, these at the time, at least as far as I know, exclusive tires, exclusive recolor for this set specifically. So if that is something you like, this is a really good set as a parts pack in general. It comes with a handful of other parts and some reasonably rare colors. Obviously, the new reddish orange, which is beautiful. I love that color so much. And it looks like a space vehicle. Really happy with the design of it. Really happy with what they were able to do. What I will do next is add on some better arms on the front, just something that's got a little bit more range to it, a little more reach to it. Maybe I'll even dismantle my little rover buddy here and salvage some of those pieces. We'll see. I have plenty of pieces otherwise, but I had to show that one in the video. With all that being said though, make sure you like and subscribe. Again, it really helps out the channel. And of course, if you want to build this mod for yourself, take a look out on my Discord. You can download the Studio file once it is available. Studio is a free program through Bricklink. It's basically a digital Lego builder's playground, if you don't know what it is. And when the PDF is ready for this, that will also be available for free on the Discord as well. And it's free to join. So it's all free stuff. All right. You guys have fun. And of course, if you want to let me know in the comments your thoughts on this set, on the other Space Technic sets, or on the other space collaboration Lego sets that we've been seeing in 2024, let me know those in the comments, or join the conversation on Discord, Instagram, or Patreon if you want to support the channel, get some perks. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.